Hi friends, good evening. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren J, and this week we have a really fun Q&A video all about the performing arts industry. Earlier this week, I posted on my TikTok and my Instagram account that if you have any questions, just to drop them in there. I received a couple on Instagram, but most of them are DMs and ones that I've accumulated over a few years on my TikTok that I haven't yet got around to answering. Really bad for that. I have made a list and they're all here on my laptop, so if I keep looking down, I'm just referencing the questions. But I think we should just get right into it and see what you want to know. Let's go. What's it like transitioning from performing on cruise ships to life on land again? This is such a good one. So as many of you will know, I've been performing on ships since 2019 with a small break with the pandemic in there. And only recently did I make that shift from living on a ship and working there full time to land after so many years of just being in a bubble. On a ship, you're part of a tight-knit community and every day is really structured for you. Times that you are able to eat, like when the mess is open, that's what you call the eating space for the crew. Even the guest area eating places, they all have time schedules. You would have to structure your day around that as well as your timetable and rehearsals, and you had to make your own sort of schedule to go by. And something else unique about ship life is that you're literally working and living with the same people. That can be intense, but it can also be a really beautiful thing because it's a very special bond that you then make with your colleagues. And then of course suddenly you transition to land and you have a lot of freedom, which is very exciting, but it can also be a little bit daunting because you have to completely set up your own schedule. For me, I was a very structured person anyway. I like being able to form my own routine. That's something I never struggled with. But now that I'm back on land and in a new place that I have never been based in before, it's all about building a network from scratch almost. New people within the industry that don't know who I am, so just trying to make a mark and explore new avenues. How do you prepare for big performances, especially on cruise ships? This next question I like a lot. My pre-performance routine has changed depending on the contract or the job that I've been doing. Usually I don't really like to eat a big meal, or if I do eat before a show, it's hours in advance, just because I don't like to sing or dance really with a full stomach. I do need my energy, of course, but to dance and sing with a full stomach, for me, it's just always been a struggle. I'll have a protein bar like 2 hours before the show, and then after the shows are done, you best believe I'm having something proper to eat. My routine for getting ready for any kind of show, I think, probably throughout my entire career has been nap. Love a nap. Some extra energy, especially if you're working in a hot climate, it can drain you. I would leave a lot of time for my makeup and my hair. Makeup always comes before hair for some reason, and that's just me. Then what would usually happen is I would go to the theatre. So if I'm working on a ship, head straight to the theatre for sound check. When I was working on land prior, we would go to the venue we were performing at. We would set up all the equipment. You're talking speakers, microphones. Then we would do a sound check, and then we'd wait until our call time. Next is to prepare all the costumes for the show. Have a specific place backstage where you put each one for quick changes. I personally always like to leave more time than necessary before a show, just in case something comes up and I need to run off and do something, like practice some choreography with some people, or if I need to go and speak to the sound technician about a problem I've been having with my IEM monitors. Long story short, nap, makeup, hair, protein bar, preset the costumes, sound check, and then just chill and get in the zone really. What's your favorite memory from performing on a ship? Another really fun memory that I have is I had this really iconic entrance in one of my shows at Carnival. It was a show called 88 Keys, and it was a piano rock and roll show, and my role was called the Muse. The main character, the male, he was kind of infatuated with me, and I was his inspiration for his music. In this show there was a lot of really cool technical things going on, like sitting on a piano and getting lifted into the sky, or literally the stage spinning. Every fun and favorite memory that I've had on a ship has probably in some way involved the technical stuff, because it's an added challenge and I just love it. But this one entrance that I had, the song they were singing goes quiet, everyone looks to the side, and a staircase gets rolled in, and I start walking down it, and in the track it's like footsteps. It was an unreal feeling because you knew everyone was looking at you in that second and you had to really play your character. There she is. I don't know, it was just really fun. What are some of the biggest challenges you face as a performer? This is one I remember from my TikTok from a while ago. I've thought about it a couple of times, and I could easily right now say fatigued with such intense show schedules, like 2 shows a night, 5 nights a week, or whatever it was, 6 nights on some of my contracts. And that's insane for the body. There's like no recovery time. I could easily say that that is physically one of the hardest challenges to overcome as a performer, but I would say that my personal biggest challenges have been to act like I'm all right in situations where I've not been all right, to go onto the stage and not let the audience know that anything external is affecting me in that moment. So if I've had a really bad day, or I've received some bad news, or I'm just dealing with something in my personal life, I really just don't feel like smiling and being a really bubbly personality, but it's my literal job to do that. I will always be that person that doesn't want to let down the side, and I would never bring anything external onto the stage. I think that's one of the most unprofessional things anyone can do. Yeah, somehow you just get through it. For me, that's personally been some of the more challenging things to deal with, but they don't happen so frequently. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. What has been the most rewarding aspect of being a performer? I think the audience reaction. When you can see that someone is visibly enjoying your performance and they're clapping along, or they're dancing, singing along to your song, that's obviously an amazing feeling. You've worked really hard to get up to that point. Okay, the next question is, how do you handle stage fright, or have you ever had performance anxiety? Yes, absolutely, I've had performance anxiety. On my first contract, it's quite funny when I look back now, but I was in Cyprus. I didn't realize until I got there, this is really silly and naive, I didn't realize until I got there that I was the only singer in the group. Looking back, I'm glad that I was, because it pushed me so much. Immediately I was out of my comfort zone. At college, I'd been more focused towards the end on my singing than my dancing. This was an opportunity to 100% dive into an uncomfortable place. There were many times that I would hold back vocally in my mind, oh, I can't hit that note, when if I had tried a bit, I probably could have. I really played it safe for a long time. As my career went on and, up until my last contract, I think I got better at channeling my anxiety into excitement. I would still feel nervous, but after doing it for months on end, you realize that you've got it in the bag and you just need to go out there and have fun. How do you remain motivated after setbacks? Staying motivated can be challenging. I've really learned in the last 5 years or so since the pandemic that you should and really only can worry about the things that are in your control. For example, during the pandemic, I literally created, produced, and wrote 3 original songs, and I have no skills in the tech side of that at all, but it was something I could stay connected to, something I could focus on. So really setting short-term goals like going to a class, learning a new routine, writing a song, landing a gig, or just surrounding myself with positive influences can make a huge difference. And if I keep a growth mindset, thinking that any experience, negative or positive, is gonna be part of my journey and it's on purpose that that's happened, it's just shaping me into what I'm supposed to be and where I'm going. What are some of the most common misconceptions about working in the entertainment world? Immediately my mind says there are a lot of people over the years that have said to me that it's easy. And there's this really annoying misconception that dancers or singers are somehow less intelligent, which is just so far from the truth. There is a lot of logistics that happens in this line of work that doesn't really get spoken about because it's irrelevant to anyone that's not surrounded by it. For example, there's a lot more to a show than just singing and dancing. It's about being in the right place at the right time. There's a specific blocking. You're on a harmony. You've got to harmonize. You have to end that word on a correct beat. You have to do it with this dynamic. You also have to be dancing full out at the same time in a specific formation, knowing exactly where you're going next, knowing what's moving around you on the stage, what scenery is going where, what stage hand is in what wing, where your next quick change is, what the next song is. Like, there's so many things that you don't realize that are going through our minds as we're doing what we're doing, especially on a cruise ship. If you've ever been on one, it's probably most likely that the person checking you in on that first day when you arrive is someone from the production team. And why is that? It's because we're good at talking with people. We've done our safety trainings and we know how to evacuate you all. If there was ever an emergency, we're the ones counting you into the lifeboats. We've done that kind of training. So we do a lot more than just count to 8 or sing a song and memorize some words. How do you prepare for a swing roll, and have you ever had to do it? The answer is yes. Actually, hysterically, it was my very first ship contract, very first time on a ship, period. We literally boarded in the morning, and that night we were opening the Welcome Aboard show. Sadly, the other female singer just got really sick and wasn't feeling good. In that scenario, I was then asked if I would cover her songs as well as singing my own. And I'd never done her track before. I'd only just watched her do it and learn her songs passively, you know. And so I agreed because I didn't want to let the team down. I wanted to challenge myself as well. And so there I was, singing all the songs, flying about the stage, just trying to keep my stamina good and sound half decent. It was my first ever performance on a cruise ship, and I will never forget that one. The last question is, what advice would you give to young aspiring performers? My advice would be, don't give up. If it is your passion or there is no backup option, when someone says, okay, but what are you going to do when that's over? If there is no when it's over, you have to go towards it full steam ahead, and you have to put your everything into it. Surround yourself with supportive people. Don't be afraid to fail. Go to that class, feel awkward, feel a bit eggy in it, but learn something from it and then take it to the next class. Always present yourself well. Be polite to other performers. It's a very small industry, a very small community, and you want to be remembered for how lovely you were. Encourage other performers. When I was starting out, there were some auditions I went to, and they would tell me there and then, you don't have enough experience to do this job yet. And that was frustrating to hear because I needed the experience. I was thinking, well then just give me the job so I can gain the experience. But I personally wouldn't take that no for an answer. I dreamed my whole life of being a performer, and I would spend hours and hours and hours at home on my laptop, Googling, looking up on Facebook, applying for everything and anything, hoping that something would come up and someone would take a chance on me. And I always think if I could go back in time and tell my younger self anything, it would be patient. The right thing will show up at the right time. Keep practicing and keep expanding your skills. I've changed location for the outro because my light died, so I had to readjust the whole setup. So excuse me, but we're now at the balcony. And fun fact, today we had hurricane warnings here in Florida, so unsure if you can hear the wind going on behind me. Thank you so much for joining me on this Q&A session. I hope you found these insights into the entertainment industry helpful, useful, even inspiring maybe. It's genuinely always such a joy to connect with anyone that's interested in what I do. So if you're an aspiring performer or friend, someone that's interested in what I do or the industry in general, thank you so much for watching this video and for getting this far. I do really think it's important to share all the highs and lows within the industry so that you know what you're getting yourself into. Performers, we're humans too, and of course there's the glitz and glam that everyone sees, but there's also so many unanswered questions that nobody really knows the answers to unless you ask. So if you have any further questions or have any topics that you would like me to touch on after you've seen this video, please just drop them in the comment section below this video, because your feedback essentially is what helps me create the content that you want to see most. Lastly, thank you so much again for the continued support on this channel. I'm very, very truly thankful to everyone that's liked, subscribed, shared, Until next week when a new video is out, keep chasing your dreams and don't give up. Keep shining, stay fabulous. See you all soon. Have a wonderful week. Good night.